Okay. I'd like to bring this Personnel and Human Services Committee meeting to order Tuesday, February 17th at about 4:03 p.m. Deanne, could you take roll call, please?
Lutz?
Here.
Tilly?
Here.
Duranczyk?
Here.
Hit?
Here.
Quinn?
Here.
Herrick?
Here.
Krieger?
Yes.
Warren present?
Okay, thank you. First of all, we have the minutes of 1/20/15.
So moved. Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. At this time, we have public input. All those wanting to address the committee can step forward and address the committee. I see they're running right ahead. And so, without any further into that, we will move on to petitions and communications. Okay, the first item we have is item A, which is a motion before the committee from Commissioner Duranczyk on the measles vaccine.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion?
At the full board meeting, I will be bringing up facts and stuff at that time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Mr.
I
Tilly.
want to commend Mr. Duranczyk here, Commissioner Duranczyk, for bringing this resolution forward. Thanks.
Any others? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Under Health Director, we have item B1, which is the amendment to agreement with Dr. Kirk Herrick.
So moved. Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. B2 is the agreement with SVSU for the other doctor and shared costs.
So moved. Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under C, Personnel Director, vacancies. If anybody doesn't have a problem, we'll just take it as a whole complete group.
So moved. Support?
Have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That brings us to referrals. Any referrals? I don't remember any. Any unfinished business? I don't remember any of that either. Any new business? Any miscellaneous? Commissioner Creed.
Thank you. Krista, do we have any more information on the elevators by chance? I see we got new carpeting in the one that still works.
Yes, we do have new carpeting. We're working on stuff to put that in this weekend. We're still collecting information in order to compile, what a repair versus replacement would cost. And after we do that, we want to get a work group together to decide the best way to go. So we have a little bit more information to gather before we can move forward.
And the company that we have a contract with, did they come back to us at all with any numbers?
They have, but we're still waiting on what a number to replace the motor, because we want to use that in comparison to what a repair would cost. So that has a lot of details to it, so that's why that quote is taking so long to come back.
Okay.
So we might have to wait a week or so yet for it.
It's only been since October. We're doing fine. Kim's taking the stairs, so
That's healthy.
there you go. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Only going down, I think. I don't know about coming up. Yes, Commissioner Brewer.
I'd like to say the paint job looks good in the community center, big gym. I think a nice new floor would look good along with the nice paint job also there. So hopefully that can happen.
Didn't both gyms get painted?
Both gyms got painted.
Any other?
Wish you adjourn.
Seeing none, motion to adjourn is always in order. Motion by Mr. Tilly. Support by anybody? Motion by Commissioner Coonan. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Now we gotta go back.
It is Tuesday, February 17th, approximately 4:15. I'd like to bring to order the special board meeting for Bay County Commissioners. Roll call, please.
Begic,
Here.
Coonan.
Here.
Herrick.
Here.
Tilly.
Here.
Lutz.
Here.
Duranczyk.
Here,
Krieger.
Here. Thank you.
I think. Excuse me.
We will stand for the invocation and the pledge.
Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, we come before you this day asking that you bless this session of the County Commission. Lord, we ask that you give to its members the courage of their own convictions, that they work for the common good of all with the strength of confidence placed in them by election to office. May your divine providence guide our county and bring dignity, prosperity, respect, and order to every citizen. Amen.
Thank you. Next, we'll go into citizens' input. If there's anyone in the audience that wish to address the board, now would be the time to do it. Seeing that there is no response, we'll move into items of considerations under resolutions. Commissioner Coonan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Resolution 2015-41, this is an amended water plant cost sharing agreement. This is from the Department of Water and Sewer. I move this resolution.
Support.
Discussions. Tom, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chairman Krieger. If I could just maybe give a little overview of the resolution.
Sure.
Okay. This has been in the works with the water plant for quite some time. This is an amendment of an original resolution or agreement that was inked by the City of Bay City and the Road Commission some 2 years ago. And really the basis of the agreement at that time was to share some costs with the city moving forward, some of their legacy costs, because it made sense to build one plant in Bay County, not two, and separate it. I ran numbers, or the department ran numbers at the time on what it would mean to the out-city ratepayers to separate from Bay City. And the gist of the matter is that there would have been an additional $300,000 worth of cost, operation and maintenance, each year that the out-city customers would have to pick up by operating a plant on our own. So with that in mind, and that's the first year, and it's only going to increase after that, it made sense to sit down with the city, work out an agreement that made sense for both parties moving forward. So we did that 2 years ago. The amendment here is to incorporate some additional assets into the new plant. In particular, the residuals lagoons that were operated as part of the current plant. During design, when the project plan submitted to the state called for residuals, the backwash material and such off from the plant to be discharged to the sanitary sewer system. We've got a new cleaner source of water with Saginaw Midland, but even with that discharge, as we're doing the design now for the plant, we find that that's going to exceed the sanitary sewer loading limits that we have for everybody else in the county. So we would exceed our own limits in that regard, and that would not be a good thing. So with the lagoons there, the North Lagoons being rehabilitated back in 2006, I believe it was, some existing debt on it, it made sense to utilize these lagoons for the discharge. It's really what they're designed for. And really we're getting value out of that debt now that the city incurred a number of years ago and the out-city and everybody was paying for with the current plant. The engineers estimate the lagoons as they are, we'll probably have 100 years capacity in them with the new plant because we'll be putting far less residuals in there than the current plant is. So that's the backdrop a lot for the agreement. So that's why it makes sense to share in the OPEB cost and MERP's cost with the city. We have a fixed number on that now, which makes it better for us to budget as we move forward, and the city knows what to plan to have. It also gives us the north and south lagoons as part of this, an electrical substation that we need that was basically paid for by the current water plant. Now we'll use that for the new water plant. And also it transfers the current Bay City water treatment plant and the balance of that property on Euclid Avenue to the county to become part of the plant. We'll have to determine what to do with the old plant at some point in time. The agreement calls for the city to have the option to use the building for up to 3 years. They've talked about potentially their repair facility for equipment being temporarily located there. Apparently there's some issues. Theirs is in need of some repair at this point in time. So that property will be deeded. Also, you can see the city is making a contribution, a payment to us in regard to that. But we are incurring some liabilities also with the current plant as we move forward with that. Can we salvage some material out of it? We think we can. Can we find a use for that building? Our water guys know that there's some tanks in there that hold water, and it may be beneficial for us to store more raw water somewhere in the future, although the plant, as it's designed, meets all the current design criteria. So we'll look at that and see if there's a reuse to it or not, and then make that determination in the future. One of the concerns is the South Lagoon that hasn't been cleaned in some time, and we will need to work with the DEQ on that, on whether we monitor that with monitoring wells as has been done over the last number of years, or whether we remove the sludge from that lagoon. And if we didn't do that in this agreement or transfer that, the city could have put that clean out all in our water rate this year, and we would have had a really exorbitant water rate. So even moving forward, by us taking care of that now, working with the DEQ, it's the same group of water users that are going to pay to clean that out, including the city. It's everybody that's connected to that water system. And we think we can develop a plan with the DEQ to do that over time. The first thing we need to do is assess the lagoon again, the material in it, and see if it makes sense to monitor it or to remove it. And we'll be making that determination here in the near future. But overall, it's an agreement that was necessary 2 years ago, we felt. That was a win-win for both parties, so that we could build one plant in Bay County rather than two. Again, the benefit to the Out City group is reduced operation and maintenance costs for that group, as well as the city. It benefits them too by us all doing this together.
Questions? Commissioner Herrick.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think, I know that we put in this more than a few hours on this project, and I think this agreement must be about the final step, besides the plant being finished, and, I think what you just told us, about, especially, everybody's in it together, it's kind of what we want to do as a county, so we always talk about, to make us more one group than Bay City, Essexville, Portsmouth, Frankenmuth, and, so it brings us all, and this is one step to bring us all together, and it's one way to do it. And I think that, you worked your tail off on this project, and it's finally coming to fruition, and we're gonna see the water flowing pretty soon. And like I said, I think everybody's gonna be happy with the quality. They're getting the water they're gonna get out of this place, and hopefully my wife won't have to buy a bottle of water anymore. That's what I'm thinking anyways.
Thank you very much for the kind words. I mean, it's not just me, it's our staff, it's the support of this group, it's the support of the city commission, support of the road commission that's really made this happen today. We'll expand on one thing, maybe digresses a little bit, but we're looking at things to put in place and enhance this project too. In particular, we all remember a water break last August, and it took some time to find that water break. There was some fragmented communication, if you will, at the time on how elevated tanks in particular are monitored and how the system is monitored, because we all have our little piece of the system. So as part of what we've done now to enhance this project, we're looking at monitoring all of the tanks in the county and the city and bringing that signal back to the water plant so that the operators at the water plant have real-time data off of those tanks. Currently, the Bay City plant only has real-time data off from the Lincoln tank in the south end. So bring that data to the plant, We also have CDM Smith, our engineers, looking at the system as a whole, and can we identify key spots in the system where we can monitor pressure and put pressure sensors in those areas that also send data real time back to the plant. That's going to happen. We're looking at that, monitor that, so that we can respond much more quickly to something like what happened before. Also, I get a question occasionally in regard to the 10 million gallon tank. That's a finished water tank at the current plant. The new plant has two 1.25 million gallon finished water tanks, so 2.5 million gallons. We store, I believe it's 5 or 6 million gallons in elevated tanks throughout the system right now. Also, that's there in the need for fire flow or emergencies. I think we need to keep in mind that that 10 million gallon tank was sized for a 40 million gallon per day plant. That was the projection at the time that plant was built in the 70s, was by the year 2000, we'd be using 39.6 million gallons of water a day in Bay County. We're not doing that. On a day like today, we're probably around 6.5, 7 million gallons a day. During the summer, probably around 12 million gallons a day, 11 to 12. So the plant, the new tanks are sized appropriately for the plant. It's a 17.4 million gallon per day plant. Believe it or not, water is viscous also, so in the summer we can push more through those membranes than the 17.4 million gallons. Michigan rates membranes on cold weather flow. Some states rate 2 weather, so or cold and warm. This plant is rated on the cold weather flow at 17.4, so probably during the summer we can push more than that through the plant. Also with this equipment out, we think we should be able to locate leaks or isolate sections quicker, and we'll be working with our friends in the city and Essexville, Hampton, the other water systems to have plans in place. The other thing with, if you store too much water, there can be water quality issues. You need to turn the water over. So that's all taken into consideration when they design a plant on how much water storage you have in the system. But we are taking that step, monitoring. We think it's critical that those points be monitored and that information be available to the operators of the plant on a real-time basis.
Very good. Commissioner Tilley? You're good? Anyone else? Commissioner Begic?
I was at the Monitor Township meeting, and they were talking about REUs, and they tabled it to the next meeting because they said it was too complicated. Can you give us a simple explanation of REU?
An REU, that would be on the wastewater end. It's a residential equivalent unit, is what it stands for. And all, the way our rate structure is set up with the plant and then with the townships, REUs come into play when you're talking about a commercial or an industrial customer. We convert their flows to a residential equivalent factor, and then that's how we basically charge the services we provide at the plant for treating the water to the townships. That's looked at every year for commercial industrial customers, and we recommend an adjustment to the township or to the city based off actual history for the previous 12 months. So that can go up or down depending on how the business is doing or whether it's added on to. But essentially, it's a conversion to residential equivalent factors, and an REU is 75,000 gallons of water per year. It's about 205 gallons a day. Typical household.
See if they pass it next time.
Anyone else? Tom, thanks for all your help and work. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no other discussion. All those in favor signal by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Back to you, Commissioner Coonan.
Thank you, sir. Resolution 2015-42, this is the revised Lakeshore Beach Access Study report. That's from Environmental Affairs. I move this resolution.
Support.
Discussion. I just like to bring up the fact that a ton of work has gone into this, and Laura has been very patient on all of the changes that have been made and making sure that everything is done in the best interest of Bay County. So I just want to say thank you. And if there's no other discussion, all those in favor signal by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion
And
carries.
that's all the business, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Coonan. Let's move into any unfinished business, any new business, any miscellaneous, We have no announcements, although Commissioner Begic, don't we have Walk for Warmth or something coming
I
up?
haven't, Consumers has sort of taken that over, and I heard an announcement yesterday that Saginaw was having one in Flint, but I haven't really got one. We have a meeting next Thursday, so I should know when we're gonna have one locally.
So you'll share it with us in March then?
Yeah, it was actually in Midland last year. They didn't have one in Bay City. They ran it in Midland, so
Okay,
I'll let you know.
okay, thank you. No need for closed session, correct?
There's not, Mr. Chair.
Very good. So a motion to adjourn would be in order, Mr.?
Always in order, Mr. Chairman.
So forth.
Any discussion? With none, we are adjourned. Thank you.